and told Tampa's story to the entire world. I mean, it was August of last year. It was the Republican National Convention. There were 15,000 members of the media that were here. There was a worldwide audience, and we got to tell Tampa's story. And it wasn't a story of bricks and mortar. It wasn't a story of this amazing scene that you see here right now. It was a story of a community that, through tough times and in good times, made itself into someplace special. And when I look at the families that are here today, in all of the shades and ethnicities and genders, orientations, folks who started from nothing and rose to set the table for my generation and for my children's generation. Everything that we see here today, the people that we will honor here today, all contributed greatly in the formation of this community that we now know as one of America's most exciting places. And when we told that story to the world last year, it was the story of the contributions of some of the people that we see here today. Contributions of people who understood that they had a moral obligation to leave this city in better shape than it was given to them. People who struggled. Families who lived through some difficult times, but never stopped persevering in pursuit, not just of greatness, but of creating an environment where they could pass that torch to the next generation and the next generation beyond that, many of whom are here today. Everything that we are today is because of the contributions of the people that are here in front of you. They made us who we are. We would not be here without them. We owe them a debt of gratitude. And I know when I get to tell the story of Tampa to my kids, and hopefully to my grandkids someday, it will be the story of some of the folks that you see here today. Folks who made a difference. And ultimately, as parents, as community leaders, isn't that what we're charged with doing? Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't our legacy to leave this city in better shape than it was given to us? Isn't it about passing that torch to the next generation to make sure that they have more opportunities and better opportunities than we had? That's what these busts are about. And so when the world saw Tampa, they didn't see just a riverwalk. They saw a story of a community and community heroes. And everyone that walks on this riverwalk, a riverwalk that will be completed by Thanksgiving of next year, a riverwalk that's taken 6 mayors and 40 years to get done. They will not just be walking on the water. They will not just be fishing. They will be reading about and learning about the story of this community and the people that made it special. This is significant. Because if we don't remember the contributions of those who came before us, shame on us. Shame on us. The good times and the bad times. Because they made us who we are. We are thankful that they walked amongst us. And we will memorialize them now so that those future generations will know of what they gave to us. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for being here. And thank you for giving us these 6 individuals.
That's my co-star on the Mayor's Hour. Tell you what, they never get him hold still long enough to pose for something like this, I'll guarantee you. If they were to offer him the presidency of the United States today, he'd say, forget it, I'd rather be mayor of Tampa. Sure. And they treat you pretty nasty when you're the president. You've been reading papers with him. You might pull a Dick Greco and come back again and again. But really, well, they call him Swagger, you know, out at, that's his handle out at MacDill Air Force Base, Mayor Swagger. At this time, I want to bring a guy who has been part of an effort to preserve our history, and one of the great contributions to downtown was when we got our Tampa History Center a few years ago. And what a blessing that's been. I hope everybody here has visited it at least once, and they continually renew the displays and the things that they have there. And there's so much to see and enjoy. Not to mention a little Columbia restaurant in there too. But at this time I'd like to present Rodney Kite Powell, the guy that keeps it running. Come on down, Rodney.
It is certainly my pleasure to introduce the 6 honorees, but before I do that, I'd like to introduce the Historic Monument panel who helps decide, or actually who does decide, who the honorees are going to be. Most of you all are here today, so I'd like you all to stand up if you don't mind, and as I recognize you. We have Dr. Jack Fernandez, we have Mr. Fred Hearns, E.J. Salsinas, and Doris Weatherford. And Manny Leto is here. There he is in the back, fashionably late as usual. And in addition, we have Andy Hughes. I'm not sure if Andy is here. And Robert Kirsty. So that's your committee. It's with certainly a heavy heart that I can't introduce the 9th member of that committee, but I certainly will mention him. Leland Hawes, who you all know passed away earlier this year, was also on our committee, certainly a guiding force, not only of our committee, but in the teaching and really the sharing of Tampa history. And he certainly was a mentor to me, and I'm sure a mentor to many others here, and certainly in our city and county. And I wish Leland was here to see what we've done. He voted on these 6 as well. And sad to say he's not with us anymore, but maybe in 2028 we'll have a monument for him. So with that, I would like to have the mayor and Steve come up as we unveil the class of 2013 for historic monuments. We can coordinate how they do this. All right, the first one is Cyril C. Blythe Andrews. Born in 1901, Andrews is remembered as a trailblazing newspaperman, businessman, philanthropist, and civic leader. His father founded the Florida Sentinel, which was called the organ of the colored people of Florida. Upon the illness of his father, Andrews became editor of the newspaper. He became secretary-treasurer of the Central Life Insurance Company, a real estate developer, and led the Grand Assembly of Lily White Security Benefit Association, Incorporated. That group grew to 20,000 members, built 3 temples, and created an ambulance service. In 1945, Andrews restarted the Florida Sentinel, which had ceased publication during the Great Depression. He purchased the Tampa Bulletin in 1959 and merged the 2 newspapers to form the Florida Sentinel Bulletin. As a publisher, Andrews grew in political influence, and his endorsement was coveted by office seekers. A Mason and Elk, he was the first black appointed to the Hillsborough County Civil Service Board. He was also appointed to the Florida State Advisory Committee on Civil Rights by the Civil Rights Commission in 1962, chaired the Negro Advisory Committee, and served on the Mayor's Biracial Committee and the Committee on Human Relations. C. Blythe Andrews. Next up is Cody Fowler. Born in Arlington, Tennessee, Cody Fowler moved to Tampa in 1924 to practice law. His mother, Maud Fowler, was one of the founders of Temple Terrace. Cody Fowler drafted the city's charter, served as its first attorney, and served a term as mayor of Temple Terrace. Fowler distinguished himself early in his career by defending African Americans in Tampa's courts and fighting for unpopular but just causes. In 1943, he joined with Morris White to form the Fowler and White firm. In 1950, he was elected president of the American Bar Association. The following year, Tampa's Civitan Club honored him with the prestigious Citizen of the Year award. In 1959, Fowler was appointed chairman of both Florida's and Tampa's biracial commissions. His leadership, along with African American leaders such as A. Leon Lowry, helped guide the peaceful integration of Tampa's lunch counters in 1960 and led to greater economic opportunities for blacks. Fowler died at the age of 85, still senior partner of the law firm he co-founded. Cody Fowler. Kate Jackson. Kate Jackson was born in Tampa to Irish immigrant parents. She founded and led the all-female Tampa Civic Association in 1910. In Even lacking the vote, the TCA women advanced their causes through will, determination, and political finesse. They saw their dreams realized in the creation of the city's recreation department, the establishment of the city's first library, and the construction of Tampa's first water sewage system. An astute businesswoman, philanthropist, and environmentalist, Jackson was instrumental in establishing and funding the Academy of the Holy Names, in starting and leading the nation's second Girl Scouts of America troop, and in advocating and contributing to the purchase and preservation of the initial acreage of what became Everglades National Park. A woman of keen intelligence and enormous curiosity, Jackson delved into subjects as diverse as rivers, stoves, bees, and books, and filled notebooks with her ideas. She penned essays, and the title of one, "If I Can, I Will," epitomizes her legacy. She could, and she did. Or in the words of former Tampa Mayor D.B. McKay, she would not be denied. Kate Jackson. Peter Oliphant Knight. Peter Knight was an influential member of Tampa's business and professional community for over 40 years and helped create and shape many of Tampa's business institutions. He moved to Tampa in 1889 when there were fewer than 1,000 residents and served as a city councilman and as county solicitor. Knight and others organized the Exchange National Bank, the Tampa Gas Company, and the city's electric streetcar and lighting system. He served on the board of the Tribune Publishing Company and was the primary local representative of Boston's Stone and Webster, owner of Tampa Electric Company, and prominent in the development of Davis Islands. He was later instrumental in acquiring land on Davis Islands for a municipal airport, which today bears his name. Knight assisted in the formation of Tampa Electric Company and served as its president. He was also a founding partner in what is today the international law firm of Holland and Knight. Peter O'Knight. Paulina Pedroso. Paulina Pedroso was born in and died in Cuba, but she is one of Tampa's most influential black women. Pedroso moved to Tampa in the 1880s, where she worked as a cigar maker. Pedroso was also one of the most prominent female leaders of Cuba's 1895 revolution against Spain. Jose Marti, Cuba's equivalent of George Washington, headquartered his activities in Pedroso's boarding house in Tampa. She also led other black Cubans in organizing La Sociedad Libres, or Society for Liberty. The group's primary aim was to raise money to arm rebels against the Spanish government. Working directly with Jose Marti, her efforts helped lead Cuba to victory in 1898. The Pedrosos returned to Cuba in 1910, and the Cuban government honored them by allowing them to live rent-free for the rest of their lives. Pedroso died in 1925 at the age of 80. In 1993, Pedroso was inducted into the Florida Women's Hall of Fame. Paulina Pedroso. Garfield DeVoe Rogers. In 1905, with no money, G.D. Rogers began his trek from Georgia to Central Florida, walking along railroad tracks and, it is said, selling railroad ties to buy food. In Bradenton, he worked as a tailor and dry cleaner and later secured licenses in real estate and mortuary science. He and his wife opened Rogers Funeral Home, which buried not only blacks, but paupers of any race. In 1922, Rogers helped create Tampa's Central Industrial Life Insurance Company, an agency that sold policies to blacks. He also opened Rogers Hotel and Rogers Dining Room on Central Avenue, both of which became important meeting places within Tampa's black community. Rogers invested in a beach resort for blacks, established the Negro Business League, and worked to register black voters. Rogers was also a philanthropist. Perhaps his most noteworthy gift was a gift of land for a Tampa park to be used by blacks. Today, that park, which bears his name, is the historical Rogers Park Golf Course. G.D. Rogers.